Football Podcast. Joining me tonight with Oisín and we have Rob. Lads, looking forward to Matchweek 17 in the Premier League. We're going to start with Nottingham Forest at home to Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham have recently stopped. They're bleeding a little bit. They went 4 games without a win. But yeah, 4-1 against Newcastle last week. Pretty dominant display. Oisín, you can start with that one. Pretty dominant against the injury-riddled Newcastle team who are really struggling of late. And Nottingham Forest, who are kind of finding a little bit of form here and there. Even though Steve Cooper stacked? I think he was, wasn't he?
No, not yet. No, I'd say not too far away from it though.
I don't think if they don't win this game, I think they'll be sacked anyways. But Oisín, you can go on from there.
Yeah, I think it was a great game by Spurs. It was great. They needed a result like that, and the fact it came to a team like Newcastle. Look, yes, Newcastle have their injury problems, but that being said, so does Tottenham. They're missing 2 key players, Maddison and Van der Ven. But like, I suppose for Spurs in itself, great for Richarlison to get back in the scoreboard. Son with 2 goals and 1 assist. Brennan Johnson had a great game on the right hand side. Kulusevski is doing well in the in the centre attacking midfield role. So look, it was a great display. In a way, I look back at the game, it kind of flattered to deceive that 4-1. Newcastle were very good. They were very good off the ball, pressing, the usual that you expect of a Newcastle team.
Yeah.
But all in all, I think Spurs deserved to win. They needed that so bad. They were really leaking in some poor results ever since the key injuries to Maddison and Van der Ven.
Yeah.
So look, it'll do them some justice. They've come up against a team in Nottingham Forest that, yes, they off the back of a win, but they ain't blowing anyone out of the water anytime soon. So I see Spurs. I think Spurs are away in this game, so they need to play like they're a home team. I think they will. I think they'll probably blow them out of the water fairly early on. But this, as we seen last weekend, with the results that went to against a lot of teams, anything could happen in this season. It's crazy.
Moving on to Nottingham Forest, Rob. 1 win in the last 5 games. There is talk of Steve Cooper. I was actually sure he got sacked last weekend, but no, you feel like his job is really on the line here.
Yeah, like some games they play pretty well as well, but I just can't script a win. I think he's okay for now, to be honest. I think second this side of Christmas, unless they lose every game, it'll just be a bad idea. There's still worse teams than them.
Yeah.
Like losing at home to Spurs, even though it's Spurs, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like getting hockeyed by Fulham was definitely worse. If you're not getting the sack after that, then you're surely safe for a couple of weeks. Right,
lads, predictions. Nottingham Forest home to Tottenham. Oisín, start with you.
I'd say 3-1 Spurs. No, 3-0 Spurs.
3-0. Rob?
2-2.
2-2. Oh, well, okay. I'm going to go probably 2-0 Spurs. I think Nottingham Forest are good at home, but I think Spurs probably have too much for them, even though they're kind of riddled with injuries. But yeah. All right, moving on then to a big game Saturday morning, Bournemouth versus Luton Town. We've seen a sort of a crazy improvement in Bournemouth the last couple of weeks. Ariel is starting to, really kind of stamp his style and stuff on Bournemouth. We've seen him against Manchester United during the week, 3-0. They won, and they looked every bit as good as the 3-0 suggests. So yeah, I think this kind of a game at home to Luton Town, who themselves are, they're playing okay. They're not really afraid of anyone. They lost narrowly to Man City at the weekend, and lost narrowly as well to Arsenal during midweek as well. So they're not as bad as we've maybe suggested they were before. But yeah, this is going to be a tough game for them, especially the form Bournemouth are on, Rob.
Yeah, it's weird talking about Bournemouth and being in form, but the last four games have shown that they are. They're not flukes either. Dominated United. Unlucky not to get the win against Villa. And 2 other positive results in there as well. Luton are a strange one. At home, they're different gravy as what they are away from home.
Yeah,
so definitely suits Bournemouth, but they could go anyway. Like, this game is such a bizarre game. Like, it still could be a relegation kind of 6-pointer. By no means are either team safe, regardless of it. Like Luton, you're complimenting Luton on still losing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
As well as my play, you don't get points for losing despite playing well. Whereas Bournemouth have got 10 points, I think, the last 4 games. which is crazy. Like
what? The last 5 games, they have 13 points, 1-4.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah.
And that draws against Villa as well, like so.
Yeah. They've really turned like they're 10 points above relegation zone now, which is Luton occupy that one. So if Bournemouth win this game, and we'll say like Everton who've been on a good run of form, if they pick up good points, then Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United.
They're in draw.
That gap is slowly growing. Like Everton are 4 points above relegation, and Nottingham Forest are 5. So you wouldn't.
Considering the teams that are around there, then you have Palace are still around there, Forest still around there. They're still a good level, especially Palace 2 levels above the three minnows. Like so.
Yeah.
Like we spent a lot of the season so far shitting on Bournemouth. Rightfully so. They were asked.
So to start, they were pretty the majority.
And I think it just shows how unprofessional we are that every prediction we make just goes on the drain.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's funny. Like because we were talking a lot of shit about Bournemouth beforehand, but like none of us, I guess, really knew who this manager was. I still don't really know his name properly. I think it's Areola or something like that. Areola or something like that. Anyways, but like he's really, now that he's gotten a couple of months under his belt, he's really starting to get them playing. Like the press that they had against Man United, they were just on top of them, up their arses every second of the game.
Yeah, it didn't look like a relegated potential relegated team, does it?
No.
They were prime Barcelona in some instances in terms of their passing ability at close range to the Man United. For the most part, for some parts of the game, they were attempting to close down Bournemouth, but they never panicked on the ball. They were able to get the ball away. They moved it swiftly, moved out of position as well. They moved to an area where they could receive the ball very well and quickly. Bournemouth, I agree with you. Areola, like we were all saying, like there was a stupid mistake to get rid of Gary O'Neill. For this guy wasn't performing at the start of the season, and I think we make no apologies for that. But obviously, a few months down the line, they were patient with him. The players were patient with him. Things are starting to work and click now. Players are performing as well, because that's the key end of it too.
Yeah.
Whatever about tactical reasons and patience, like players are beginning to find their form, find their rhythm, and due to that fact, they're now getting results. I do believe that it'll come crashing down them. They won't maintain this form forever, but they are in a rich vein of form. And coming up against Luton, it's a perfect opportunity to extend this run of form. But things will get difficult for them. But they were like, I was as a United fan, I was hurt and bitterly, and there's so many things I could say about the United performance. But in terms of a Bournemouth performance, very professional. Very disciplined. Tactically, it was very well. Individual performances were like right up there. So I think they'll beat Luton. I think they're in a richer in form. I don't think it'll last forever.
Yeah, definitely right.
Definitely it's the best time of year to go into form, because you have matches every 3 days.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because all of a sudden, if you have a bad run of form, you have 6 games gone in 2.5 weeks.
No, for sure. Right, predictions, Oisin.
I think it'll be probably 2-1 Bournemouth. I think they'll win, but not by much.
2-1. Rob?
2-0
Bournemouth. I think probably Luton would score. I think they'll probably get 3-1 Bournemouth, I think. All right, moving on then. Relegation battle. We have Chelsea at home to Sheffield United. Chelsea seemed like 2 weeks ago that they were maybe showing signs of vast improvement under Poch, and it's kind of been the same story. Whereas 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of thing. They lost to Everton last week, as well as the defeat to Manchester United the week before, the midweek as well. But on paper, I guess this does look like a tasty game. If you're a Chelsea fan, this is probably the game that will maybe get you a bit of confidence, maybe points on the board, because Sheffield are kind of ass. But in saying that, they did win last week, the first game under Chris Wilder, new manager bounce. So you never know. You wouldn't know. Oisin, is Poch in trouble? Is he in trouble?
Do you know, if this was Todd Bowley, if this was his first season, not last season, going by Graham Potter and Frank Lampard, I'd say yes. But I think that Todd Bowley's learned from what happened last. Maybe not so much as learned, but he probably has come to his own conclusion. He cannot bite the bullet this quickly. I do think that, look, Poch is a good manager, but I don't think he's by any means a finished article. I could never see him getting Chelsea to a Premier League anytime soon. And the performances are showing that. Look, I don't know if it's a tactical reasons. Obviously, they're missing loads of key players, but it's kind of the same scape of United at the moment. Like the players that are on the pitch aren't doing a job. It's as simple as that. To lose to the way, in the manner they lost to United, and as United have proven over the last few games before and after that game, they are not a fantastic team at the moment. So they made an average enough United team at the moment look very, very special. Now, obviously, United played their own part in that game, but then to go like that and then to make Everton look like a savage team. Now, again, Everton played very well. That's not taking nothing away from that, but it was a poor performance by Chelsea, and they don't look like anything is going to change anytime soon. To be honest with you, they need to get Nkunku in the squad as soon as possible. They need something new up front because it just ain't working. They need something, and we all know that they're going to spend about 450,000 million.
At least,
in January.
We need new players in January, and
I don't even know who they're going to buy. Like who they're going to buy.
Yeah. Like people will be looking like players. You'd think would be looking at Chelsea being like, oh, like avoid that as much as you can. Like
I think
all these like players in to kind of fix the problems, but it's the same problems.
And the Premier League clubs have just voted that you cannot give longer than a 5-year contract now. So that's Chelsea's back tool there with the 8-year contract, guaranteed 8-year contract, guarantee finances for 8 years, even if they get sold after the first year. So that's out the window now. Where did they go? I don't know. The way they're playing, they're going to be bottom half of the table.
Oh, definitely.
100%.
Yeah. Rob, speaking of the new manager bounce, Sheffield won 1-0 against Brentford, a good Brentford side last week. And then they were unfortunate to lose against Liverpool. He played very well against Liverpool, actually, midweek last week. They could be, potentially looking at this game as well and trying to get, some confidence out of, get a good performance, maybe get a draw even, might sneak a win. Who knows? This Chelsea team is there to be got at.
Yeah, as bad as Sheffield have been this season, they've still been okay in other games. Chelsea, you don't know what you're going to get from Chelsea. It could be an absolutely fantastic 2-1 win for them, or a dismal fucking 2-0 loss. Like they're just so up and down. Like even their good players are shot. Thiago Silva this year has just been hot ass. Like he's been awful. I think
he'll probably retire after this year.
Like all the talk about Enzo Fernandez being bad, but like Sassuolo has been non-existent.
So
he's
dead again, so he's gone.
Yeah, so it's
he's injured again.
He's injured again. Yeah,
it's hard not to be delighted with Chelsea's downfall. Like
it is absolutely.
Just with the carry on over the summer, like it was just such a joke.
Over the last 3 windows, never mind the summer.
3 windows even, but particularly over the window where every day they were signing someone new. Fabrizio Romano had some new kid that they were signing.
Nuts.
And they've nothing. Like they've such a bad team. They have to buy more, but they're just terrible. Like
I saw a really funny one there. Sorry for interrupting you there, and I completely forgot. I meant to put in the group chat. Chelsea signed Nkunku when he was 24 years old. He's 26 now, and he still hasn't played a game for them.
Yeah, it's well, like
he
was signed.
I know he's injured, but
he was signed in 2022, and he won't play until probably 2024. I know he's I think he's supposed to be expected back just before Christmas, but I don't think it's going to happen.
At the same time, I don't think he's going to change Chelsea's fortunes around by himself. Anyways,
no, he doesn't have the midfield to hold the ball. Like the centre mids are actually tackling like that. Like so, Enzo Fernandez had a bang average World Cup, and then all of a sudden had a 110 million price tag on him.
Like they're no exactly, but like they're looking at offloading Conor Gallagher, and I think he's probably been one of their most consistently decent players this year. I'm a big fan of his now, but I think you were saying United were linked with him, whatever, and I think he'd be a fantastic player for any team. I think he's
if they let him go after Mount, after all, if they let him go, that is a sure tell sign to me that they have no hope going forward. That they will never have an academy. No academy players are going to want to look at that in the long term. They'll just look to raise these players and sell them. If they let Conor Gallagher go, and I don't like him, I don't think he's a good player, but I don't think he's going to be world class anytime soon. But he's, as you said, he's most certainly one of their top players. But if they let him go, for any fee, it's diabolical.
Yeah,
just to raise funds for
and they're probably
financial fair play.
Like probably 50, 60 million for him, but he's probably he's only worth 20, 25 million, I'd say, but just English tax as well. He's probably going to try to go for 40, 45 million, 50.
Which no one should pay. Like,
oh, definitely,
no, for sure.
I absolutely hope not.
Yeah,
20 is a fair price for him.
20 is a fair price. Yeah. All right, predictions, Oisín.
I really think it's going to be a draw, and I think it's going to be 0-0 or 1-1. I don't see. It's like because Sheffield United have done well. Chris Wilder is a very pragmatic coach. He's very attack minded, and this Chelsea team cannot defend. James is gone again, so I think I don't see a winner. But if I am, I don't see it going towards Chelsea. So I'll just say a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, Rob.
I'm kind of leaning more towards a 2-1 Sheffield. That's not the Chelsea hatred in me. It's more kind of common sense.
Yeah,
like it's a new manager bounce. It's going to be happening in the stadium. Sheffield need a win. Chelsea are just hot ass with more and more injuries, more and more pressure coming up against them. It's just everything suits the Sheffield win, So 2-1 Sheffield, I'd say.
I'm gonna say 1-1. I'm gonna say 1-1 as well. I think both teams are as bad as each other, but I think Sheffield are the better team of the two. But Chelsea being at home, you can kind of I don't think they'll lose. But I hope they do because I fucking hate Chelsea. All right, moving on then. Etihad, Manchester City versus Crystal Palace. We've seen Man City finally get a win against Luton Town at the weekend after going 4 games without a win. Palace, I don't know what you can say about them. They did perform okay against Liverpool. There was a few contentious decisions in that game, but like the red card for Jordan Ayew, that was a bit ridiculous now, in fairness to Palace, but I don't see them doing anything against it. Maybe if it was in Selhurst Park, maybe they might put a performance in, but at the Etihad, I don't know. I think City will probably run away with this now. We've seen Haaland. I think he was just out with illness the last couple of days, so he didn't play midweek. He didn't play at the weekend. But yeah, we know, I don't know. I think this is going to be just a routine 3-4-0 for Man City.
Yeah, Palace are such a boring team. They don't win and they don't get close to European football.
I just feel like Vieira, who tried getting them playing football and didn't work, that's fine. But to go back to Roy Hodgson, I think was just
it's just stupid.
Why are you going back? Like he's in almost 80 years old or whatever he is, and he's been a good servant for them, no problem. But you need to start playing new football. Like you can't just go back to the same.
Yeah, they're not getting anywhere. Like they're just boring.
You can't expect Roy Hodgson to come in and be like, oh yeah, like this new tactics. Let's start getting goals and stuff like that. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Roy Hodgson is of the top 5 oldest Premier League managers. He's 3 of them because he's left because he's been there and left to go back. So I'm pretty sure he's definitely 2. Possibly 3 of the 5 oldest managers in Premier League history, which is crazy.
I think going on Roy Hodgson, though, he was obviously hired last season to kind of save Palace this season, and I know he's a local boy and he grew up supporting it, but it was kind of funny one where he in a way they kind of flattered to deceive. I love that phrase. I'm going to say it a few times tonight, but with last season because they had a performing Elise, Eze, and Wilfred Zaha.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have Zaha this season. Elisa and Eze have been injured for a majority, if not all of them. I think Eze early. One of them has missed the majority of the season, if not both of them. So
I think Eze up another injury or something. He's
So it was just one of those things where I suppose the 3 of his top performers are out. Like Ward, the likes of Ward, Ward is well past it. Good, he was a great defender for them in his time, but he's past it. I think the only thing that Roy Hodgson can really do, apart from probably not doing it in this game, but after this game, he's going to have to start bleeding in some young players. Yeah, because definitely. There's a lot of these teams, this Crystal Palace team, are past their best. They haven't got it in them to be a Premier League team that probably Palace think they are.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that they're due their mittens for they need to get themselves into a relegation battle. But I think I agree with you. I don't see Palace doing any damage, if any at all, to City this weekend.
Well, speaking of City, they've only one win in the last 5 games. We've seen them get absolutely dominated shots all game. Absolutely dominated. Villa could have got 4 or 5 goals, but managed to win anyways. But yeah, Rob, we talked about City kind of not being as ruthless as they used to be, and it's definitely showing. Like we talked about the absence of Kevin De Bruyne all the time. You know, he can come back, yeah, but like there's no guarantee he's going to be, you know, from being out for months. Like there's still no guarantee he's going to be able to be at the top level where he usually is, like straight away. It's probably going to take him, like, you know, a few games anyways to get back into it. So
I think it'll be the complete opposite with De Bruyne. I think he'll just come back and swinging. Their biggest thing, obviously, De Bruyne has been a bit injury prone the last few seasons. Like Gundogan is a guy who dragged him out of the mud last year. I know it was Haaland's goal, but Gundogan was unplayable for most of it. He was the guy. He was the guy that in the end won the treble. Like down in the FA Cup final, he played a big part in the Champions League final. I know Rodri got the goal, but look, coming up to February last year, City weren't really being talked about too much in title race, and then they went to win everything. So I wouldn't be too. I'd be hesitant on talking shit about them.
Games in a row or something like that.
Yeah, because they're so good.
They can't write them off at best, but they they themselves are kind of have a thinning squad. Like, you know, they have a lot of defenders, but you know, once you get the attacking players, you know, they got rid of Mahrez last season. They're on about you know, Calvin Phillips being sold. You know, if God forbid Haaland gets injured, you know, they could be in trouble. Like, you know, Jack Grealish has 1 goal in 46 games, which isn't fucking talked about enough.
No, there's a lot of stuff when it comes to City being talked about.
Well, he scored against Luton the last day, the winner the last day. But
okay, so he's 3 in his last 40-something games then. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like, you know, they don't have, like, Bernardo Silva isn't an attacking player of sorts that he used to be anymore. You know, players like Kovacic.
There's no sign of fucking Nunes from Wolves. Like, where's he? He's playing for extra. No sign of him
in the Champions League in a nothing game, and he's playing last
right wing,
and he was just
right wing.
So there's nothing being said about that. Like, but when it's on every other team, like it's all.
But that was a lucky sign. Who was?
But United got battered at St James's Park, and it was fucking Ten Hag's out, and like the biggest fucking shock ever. City get absolutely battered, like even worse than Villa Park. Nothing said about it. Like there's very little being made
there is such a bias towards Man City.
There is. I suppose they're the Premier League sweetheart of the league. But I tell you one thing I was thinking of the last day, and like listening to Pep Guardiola's press conference. I can't remember, was it prior to the Aston Villa game? Maybe it was after, one of them anyway, where he was like, "We will win it again." Oh, and I think it was prior to that, because he was talking about like Gary Neville not winning 4 in a row, and Michael Richards, and then Jimmy Carragher never win. I think that to me sounded like at first I kind of thought it was a soldier's call to his players to say, like, you need to do something, whatever. But the other part of me thought that it's mind games in the sense of panic, that maybe he's starting to think that they won't do it this year, that he's setting up a false bravado, this kind of taking the hit or the heat, as you will, to kind of show that ego that we all know he has. But the more I thought about it, I think maybe he's starting to think that they won't do it this year, because they're playing majority of their last 4 or 5 games with 6 defenders on the pitch, 2 of them in a midfield position. So I don't, obviously they have a few injuries now as well. They have a depleted attacking force, but like I think like it's strange, like the whole Haaland thing is hush hush. I'm really curious to know, has he done something worse than what Pep Guardiola has been saying? I know he kind of nearly, the way he was speaking about, it's only his foot. Oh, it's a strain on the foot, strain on the bone, he said. A strain on the bone sounds fucking pretty serious to me. You know what I mean?
That sounds to me like the bone could snap at any second.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're about a 6'4" fucking behemoth, like
absolutely massive. So like a strain on the bone, like, so I was kind of thinking that, like, I obviously he was never going to play the Champions League game tonight. Last night was it tonight? It doesn't matter.
It was today. It was during the kickoff.
So I was kind of thinking, like, but then when just the way he said it the last day, like a strain on the bone just doesn't seem right to me. So we'll see this weekend, because if it's the case that it is a bit more serious than he's letting on to, now we're going to see the Man City that, you know, this is a different Man City, you know, that they. So look, I going on your Kevin De Bruyne thing as well. I'm on the same cuff as Rob, but on the same cuff as you. I think he'll come back good. I don't think it'll take him time to get into the Kevin De Bruyne we know, but I don't think he'll be shy. I think he'll come back. You'll see the kind of the passes, the progressive, the crossing, all that set pieces, all that he can do well. But look, it's an interesting time. And hopefully they go fucking down.
Yeah. Last thing out on Pep Guardiola, like we've seen Mikel Arteta get banned, got a yellow card for celebrating the last minute winner against Luton. Pep went over half time, was in the face of the official, fucking pointing fingers, ready to fight him. And then after they scored, he was mocking opposition managers, like blowing kisses, stuff like that, and not a thing said about it. There's clearly such a crazy double standard for how, like, you know, Roberto De Zerbi, I can't remember who was against, but Brighton scored late on. He was like running across the pitch. Nothing. Arteta celebrated the last minute winner inside the technical area, and he got banned for that.
I think De Zerbi got yellow card for that though, didn't he?
I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
No.
No,
well, he definitely. He's
down the pitch constantly and gets away with it. He's always barking at the fourth official on the sideline. No one seems to care. You know, especially Pep gets away with it so much more than any other manager.
I do agree with that. I think I saw the clip of the halftime going up to the referee. That was aggressive. It was aggressive. I didn't see the blowing of the kisses to the opposition bench, but
I picture it. I'll send it to you. But.
Yeah, but there's so much.
He's such a hateful content.
He's a hateful.
He is. Yeah, like I think is there an element of fear? But this going back to the Man City bias thing, like not just Pep Guardiola, but it's Man City.
Fear. He's just a dickhead. Like he's always been such a dickhead. Like.
And the comments he comes out with and stuff
it's the comments that I don't like. Whatever about his actions, it's the comments.
It's like I hate Jimmy Carragher, but I loved his response coming out like, oh, if I was an oil state-run team, 150 charges on me, I would have won the league anyways. So
He's right.
He's
right.
Yeah. We'll go predictions. Oisin.
I think. I don't think it's. I was about to say 4-0, but I actually don't think it will be 2-0. City.
I say 2-0 City. Yeah.
I'd say it's probably going to be like 4-0. I just think Palace are that bad. I think it'll be 4-0, probably. Maybe 5, but I'll say 4-0 City.
How great would it be for a fucking 2-1 Palace win?
Palace do have a shithouse in them, like results every
day. They do, yeah.
Remember a couple in
the league, maybe they already used it up.
Yeah. Like a couple of years ago when Townsend scored that volley from like 40 yards out.
Yeah, unreal.
I'd say that was crazy.
Speaking of shithousing, Newcastle at home to Fulham. Fulham in the last 2 games have scored 5 goals in each game. 10 goals, 2 games, none conceded. I don't know what's happened. West Ham went there last weekend and got absolutely hurt. Newcastle themselves are in a shocking place right now. Just they can't seem to win. They lost in the Champions League tonight against AC Milan. Fair enough, they're out of the Champions League. They only had like 7 subs. So yeah, they're being hit hard. Dan Burns coming back. Isaac played a couple more minutes. Callum Wilson's playing minutes again as well. So they're kind of getting a couple of players back. But yeah, like if Fulham can keep their consistency over the last 2 games, they can go to St James's Park and, you know, play the way they've been playing for the last 2 games. They could walk out with 3 points.
Yeah, it's a very interesting match. You love to see it on Newcastle's end for how much or how big they were giving it.
Yeah.
They're such a big club and 4 injuries and they were fucking
crippled.
turned to shit all of a sudden. Yeah.
I mean, I said it like when we first started this podcast that Newcastle have a great first 11, maybe a great first 14, and then after that it's dirt. It's championship level. Like they've
championship level.
You know, they're like creaming over like Lewis Miley, who's all right, he's decent, but he's not a Premier League footballer yet.
Exactly, he's only 17 though.
He's only 17. Yeah, fair enough. But he's not gonna you know stop the bleeding for them. Anthony Gordon. He's doing okay, but he's still
he's on grip bit of form, but he's still an average player. Like
he's still it's just his temperament. A lot of time, his attitude. A lot of time, I think he kind of gets too involved. And he takes away from his football. He's very hot headed. You know what I mean? It's easy to get under his skin, and then he starts acting the boss. Yeah. But when he starts playing, he's a good player. But
I think this Fulham kind of not necessarily turnaround because they weren't doing terrible before. They're just kind of another boring team, hard to break down. But you will break them down, and they're really not going to score. Yeah, I think it's all down to Tim Ream in the backline.
Fucking Tim Ream, shut the fuck up, Tim Ream. Well, Fulham have gone up to 10th now. They're only 5 points behind Newcastle. So if they could get a win, being 2 points behind,
I do see it. I do see a big Fulham win. Probably put I want to say 2, even 3 goals. It's so good to see Raul Jimenez back on the score sheet properly.
I wanted to say that.
He's like, when he first came onto the scene, I was like, oh, this man is cool. If only he could get goals, he'd be so cool. But he never scored. He couldn't do it. He could never score.
For Wolves, he was class, and then he got his fucking skull broken.
Fucking skull
broken. Yeah, couldn't get it back.
For
Wolves, he was genuinely good. I thought we were going to sign him and beat new fucking Chicharito or something, even though a little bit less clumsy. Like we were going to sign him, and then he went and got fucking skull fucked. It's not even just that they're scoring. The goals they're scoring they're fantastic.
It's
such a good range.
That'll do great for morale. Like Nottingham Forest, who we talked about them, they're okay. Like they can score. Don't get me wrong, they're not like a slouch of a team by any means. Like West Ham especially are no slouch this season.
No.
But score 5 against each.
Forest they've been beaten a lot so far this season, but never.
But they've been playing very, very well though.
Yeah, never hammered. Like they just upset, and then for Fulham to go and do another 5-0, like the only teams that can do that are City. Like the only team we do back-to-back 5-0 is generally City, like, or maybe Arsenal or Liverpool, depending on the fixtures being right.
Yeah.
But for Fulham to do it is just bonkers.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Oisin, anything to add about Newcastle?
I was just looking there now. I'm just looking at something about Anthony Gordon. Like I've seen something the other day and I can't find it, about his take-ons were one of the best in the league up until about 3 games ago, and now he has a dribble success rate of only about 20%. So, look. To be honest with you, I don't like. I've seen it a lot, and a lot of the media are very much on the side of Newcastle because it's very their story. But this shit of injuries, I don't want to hear it. Like Chelsea, United, Spurs, there's teams down the bottom of the league that have injuries. City now have injuries. I don't give a fuck about if you have a team with injuries. Either if we're as a United fan, all we're hearing about is our players that are on the pitch not performing. So if that's the rule for us, then the same rule applies for the rest of them. Exactly. So I don't really care.
It shouldn't be different.
So I don't care. Exactly.
That's a good point.
So you know what I mean? I'm fucking sick of it because it's the last 2 months now that I'm hearing about. What I will go on to say is Newcastle at home are another animal. Like St James's Park has turned into this colossus of a fan base. Like it's a plethora of noise. But what I do think is that their main defense, like Trippier, is not having a good few games.
Yeah,
he's been making a lot.
Two of the goals last week were just his fault.
His fault. And two goals the week before.
He's not being rested, but because Dan Burn got injured, Livramento was over on the other side.
The left hand side
pretty well, but
same as Hall as well. They brought Hall in to cover Burn, and I get that. In Hall is
out for this game. I think he's suspended for this game.
He is exactly. So look. They've had their look. They still have good players, but they're not performing. Now, what I will say about Fulham is the thing with Fulham. I know Rob was saying about Tim Ream, but it's their wing backs have been really impressing me. Anthony Robinson and Castagna have been really good. Paulinho, he'll go in January, I think. I think he's gone.
With him, I think. But
him and Bayern Munich are saying that they're going to be busy
Bayern
in
don't
January.
Need him though. Bayern have fucking Goretzka and Kimmich and fucking Komoda or whatever his name is as well.
But Goretzka's But Paulinho and Goretzka, who's a better player? Paulinho. So that's probably where the thinking is about it. I think Jimenez, it's great that he's getting a few goals because he was like, ever since that injury, he was like, even every one of us were surprised about that transfer.
It's kind of fucked up.
I hope he's playing well as well. He's starting to find his form. He's getting a few goals and a few assists. Pereira's doing well. Willian, I think he's actually maybe injured for this game, but he was doing well. Like he's like Peter Pan, that fucking Egypt. You know what I mean? So Fulham are like, we came out of nowhere. Let's all be frank about this. A few months ago, we were saying Fulham would be bottom half of the table. The last 2 games is just like what's going on? 5 goals here, 5 goals there, 5 goals. Don't even be surprised if he's going to be 5 goals.
Who knows?
This weekend, you just don't know.
So we'll go on predictions there then. So Oisin, go with you then.
I think just for the shits and giggles, I'll say 4-1 Fulham. on current form.
4-1 Fulham, right, Rob?
Yeah.
I was going to say 3-1 Fulham.
All right, Jesus. I was going to say
Yeah.
probably 3-1 Newcastle. I'll probably go 3-1 Newcastle. I think we'll probably have too much. I'd like to see them lose, but I think I don't know this whole Fulham.
They probably will.
Yeah, they probably will. But just on the base, I'm sick at the fucking narrative that people are springing over Newcastle.
Yeah.
Like there's some sort of long lost child that's finally been found. Like fuck off. Like
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Moving on then. Turf Moor, Burnley versus Everton. Sean Dyche derby. He's really kind of got hold of this Everton team and just kind of changed the way they've been playing, because they've had a tricky enough start to the season. They weren't playing well, but they kind of really settled down, and despite their 10-point deduction, they're out of relegation zone already. They're 5 points ahead of it, I think, 4 or 5 points ahead of relegation now. Rob, they've he's done really well with them. Good win against Chelsea last week. This is a good game for them. Burnley are not in great form at all. Company could be out the gate. Could be a great game.
Yeah, I'm very surprised there's not more being said about Company. Is because of how good he was in the Premier League that they don't want to. They can't really say that because Vieira was booted out fairly quickly out of Palace.
Yeah, but Vieira, there wasn't really
maybe it's just
as it were about how bad his Palace team were. To be fair, like no one really said. He just kind of went and that was it.
Yeah. Burnley have been shocking, but still got a couple of wins in the last few weeks. Everton sees games like this that tends to put Everton down in the relegation battle. Yeah. They don't win some of this. Like they beat Brentford 3-1, and the following week they lost 2-1 at home to Luton. So they're after beating Chelsea 2-0. So therefore, by law of just knowing Everton, they should go and get fucking handed a 3-0 loss or something now with Burnley.
Yeah,
as good as they can play, they can also be fucking horrendous.
Everton's away
from
their 5th overall. They're away from 7 games. They have 13 points from 7 games. Just 2 losses away from home.
I was going to say
home form. It's tricky up. It's their home form. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Well, the issue, they've only 10 points from 9 games, but
But they came up some of the big hitters at home.
Yeah, again,
Man United,
so
Man City, Chelsea,
well,
Arsenal as well. So they have came up against some of the big hitters. So you give it a reason, but I think I don't think Company's in danger, and I tell you why. It's because who the fuck is going to go to Burnley?
Well,
unless it's a championship manager.
It's not. It doesn't seem that he's trying anything new. He's not trying to change anything. It's just the same.
Well, I said it last week. This 4-4-2 the Company's playing. You look at the 4-4-2 that Unai Emery's playing. It's a completely different 4-4-2 than anything we've ever seen. In terms of like out of play and the way the position will change during the game, in terms of in possession, out of possession, whereas Burnley is just a straight 4-4-2 flat. You know what I mean? It's like it's basic. There's nothing kind of new about it. So, but I think this is the game where probably Burnley will win. I think they'll just pull a performance out of their arse. Jay Rodriguez, I think is doing well lately. He may get a goal. I hope Everton win because from what happened to them, and I don't like Everton. I think they should be in the Championship. They'd scrape at the skin of their balls now the last 2 years.
Yeah, definitely.
But you know what I mean. But they have been performing well. And they deservedly so. The performance would suggest that the 10 deduction was a bit much. But I think this is going to be a game where Burnley will just fucking randomly maneuver Everton all over the pitch.
Yeah,
I think Everton have got a lot more, not necessarily fans, but people liking them the way they were handed a 10-point deduction, which is a bit unfair on them, considering what City have done and what Chelsea have done. But the fact they've completely overturned it straight away, I think people have thought maybe Everton aren't so bad. Like I don't want to have a soft spot for them, but I don't want to get them relegated just yet. Like rather this up this year. And look, they're only a couple of wins away of going over Chelsea. Like.
Yeah, exactly. Is
that's it. Like, you went 10-point direct.
The direction of it, like and Rob is like I was thinking that earlier on, like who would they be ahead after a few wins? And Chelsea is actually one of them. You know what I mean? Crystal Palace is another one.
It'd be 10th if they win for 10. It'd be 10. So
there you go. Fuck man.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if they had like.
They're still appealing, you're right. So it might go down. They might get a couple of. I think they'll still get a points deduction, but they might
maybe
6. But
it makes you wonder why fire, went under the rash, particularly over the last 3 or 4 games since they got the deduction. Where was this kind of momentum now? I know players are coming back from injury, such like that, but in terms of the way they're playing, the kind of the desire to win, and the playing for each other, playing for the manager, playing for the fans, like that should mean fucking coming into it a bit earlier than the deduction. But look, it's here now, so look, I hope to win the weekend, but something just tells me that
Burnley
just
shit
make
out.
a dirty fucking win.
Prediction, so Shane, right?
I'll say 1-0 Burnley, and I don't like saying it. I prefer to say Everton win, but I think Burnley are just going to nastily get a win.
Yeah, Rob.
I think 2-1 Everton.
Yeah, I think 2-1 Everton as well. I think like the players, Jack Harrison's in good form from Decore's in good form. DCL.
I hope they do. I hope it's 2. I hope it's fucking 3-1. Never mind 2-1.
Yeah, I'd love for Everton to slaughter Burnley. Like,
I'd like it too.
But
something tells me Burnley's just going to fucking get a nasty, dirty, scruffy win this weekend.
Yeah, that's what they're known for. Right. Moving on then, Sunday's game at the Emirates, Arsenal at home to Brighton. Tasty game this. I don't want to get too bogged down in what happened in the Aston Villa game. I do want to talk about the VAR decisions. Arsenal were not great for the first 12 minutes until John McGinn scored, and then we were pretty dominant for the rest of the game. Villa were getting kind of half chances here and there, but that goal that Havertz scored, that was obviously disallowed. Just want to talk about it. Like I said, I think if we got a draw, fair enough. I don't think we deserved to. We did enough to win the game. We definitely didn't. So I think a draw would have been fair. But the fact that goal was disallowed for Kai Havertz handball when Matty Cash handballed it first, but the ref was so confident from 20 yards away, players in his view, to make that call. That VAR took 6 minutes and like 4 different angles to get right. The fact that he was able to call that was just pure 100% guess. And they're like, oh, we can't overturn him. That's the most stupidest fucking thing. They're like, oh, we can't overturn it. That's, they need a clear and obvious error to be overturned. Like, Havertz did handball, fair enough. But I don't know how they can't be like, oh, well, Matty Cash handball first. So it's either a penalty or both handballs should be offset and then it should be a goal. Should have stood. That's fine. That's what I'm really salty about. And then Diego Carlos with that fucking swinging elbow as well on Eddie Nketiah. How that's a yellow card, I fucking do not know. Straight red, swing the elbow as clear as day, and VAR like, oh yeah, that's fine, no worries. Yellow card.
Douglas Luiz kicker on Gabriel as well. Jesus.
Yeah.
I think that's a penalty.
That penalty that was given in the Palace and Liverpool game only 2 hours beforehand.
I think that.
Like Arsenal, like I said, Arsenal didn't deserve to win.
There is something against Arsenal now, and it's against their
Arsenal have lost twice this season, and both games have been drenched in controversy. No team has gone out and actually beaten Arsenal fair and square. That's, make it out what you will. But like, if we went to Villa Park and got battered 3-0, fair enough. That's grand. You take it. You walk away. That's fine. But when you're losing games because VAR are intervening and they're doing their best to fucking, it seems that we're the only ones, like, United get shafted as well. Wolves get shafted quite often as well, but it seems like we get the most controversial decisions out of anyone else. And I don't know.
And then as you said about Arteta as well, anything he does, he gets banned for like.
It just gets
he had
banned.
his hearing. He had
but
his
you
hearing
look,
today as well.
I think I thought he was supposed to get charged today, but
no, his
like,
hearing was today, so it probably won't be in public until the next few days.
He will be charged for the Liverpool game. He'll miss like fucking 3 weeks over Christmas, and then that'll be it. Because even though he was fucking, they found him guilty fucking a month ago, whatever it was, like actually more than a month ago now. But yeah, like I said, Arsenal didn't do enough to win. We had chances, should have done better, didn't. Got unlucky with a few maybe offside calls, but take nothing away from Villa. Villa have been phenomenal at home. We all know 15 wins in a row. Bet to turn over City and Arsenal in the same week, 1-0 each way. Obviously that City performance we kind of touched on. They were just so dominant. Could have been 3, 4, 5, who knows. But yeah, just against Arsenal, you could see that they were kind of tiring quite a lot. Now they've Europe tomorrow as well. I actually don't know what their situation is. I think they're doing pretty comfortably in Europe. They can probably rest a few players tomorrow. But yeah, it was just one of those games. Like Arsenal just were trying their best, couldn't get it done. And yeah, with Brighton coming up now, we all know Brighton have been, I don't know, the masterminds of their own downfall in some ways. I think if they give Arsenal the chances that they give a lot of teams, and if we ever shooting boots on, we could probably put up 5 or 6 against them.
I think you should. Brighton
go down and score, 2 or 3 on, their own goals. It's hard to. It's going to be a very fascinating game, I think. Oisin, you can take that one.
Yeah, I think going on, like, I'll just quickly touch on what you're saying, because I think you were asking us the question about VAR and then never did. You were on a tangent.
I was getting so angry. I was trying to.
Yeah, I think. Well, Rob was saying. I think Rob was saying there that it does seem like there's a bit of a well, I don't want to say there's a I suppose an agenda. I don't want to say the word agenda, but
I think they are treated a bit differently. I think, especially, like I said, we've lost twice and both games have been in drenching controversy. It's a bit ridiculous.
What was Rob saying?
Look, I hate to always bring up City, but if that was City that had them things happen to them, where do you think decisions are going? It's going to be a penalty. It's going to be a handball against Matty Cash. It's going to be all this like.
Yeah. See, I don't want to use the word agenda against Arsenal, but I think I definitely do agree with you. I think the Gabriel Jesus would kick it about it. Although he was clearly looking at the ball, they are penalties. They're given as a penalty in every other game.
Yeah. I don't like seeing that as a penalty. But
I don't like, but it is.
No, it shouldn't have been.
It's just the fact that it's given earlier that
Bruno. Yeah, if that happens to Bruno or Rashford, a penalty, especially when you need a penalty, especially when you know it's going to get given against you as well.
Yeah,
but it's got to be a penalty. If his foot doesn't get caught, then he has a standing foot. He could take a shot, and who knows? He's like, he's like 4 yards out. You'd never know. Couldn't go in. Like, I don't see the issue in giving the penalty and then going back to VAR, then looking at it and then deciding. But just the fact that they don't even blow it up like. I don't know, man.
Well, the Havertz one is because it's it's a cosmic fluke of a thing to happen about two perfect of the exact same style of handballs. Both hands up. It does hit Cash first, and it does hit Havertz. So I suppose where exactly as you say, where do you draw the line? Do you give it as a penalty for handball for Cash because it was the first action of play? It was the handball.
Harry Lineker said match of the day. He was like, "How can defenders accidentally handball it, but attackers can't?"
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if his is accidental, then Havertz is accidental. I know the rule is like, if it touches anyone's hand, it's not a goal. But like that should be offset because it touched Matty Cash's hand first. You know what I
mean? Technically, his hand put onto Havertz's hand as well.
Exactly. Yeah. If it didn't touch his hand first.
What does there, Havertz?
It's a mad one. So I could completely agree with you. I think it's the strangest one. And I said in the group chat, I saw the replay straight away. I didn't watch the game, but I saw them. And the first thing I said is, well, it has to be a goal. They have to cancel each other out. Either it's a penalty. You go by the first action, which is Cash and ball. So look, I don't know. That has to be addressed so that never happens again. But I do think
it's already happened. It's too late for it.
Yeah, exactly. So we're done. Going on Brighton, sorry. I think
they're kind of rediscovering a little bit of form.
But they're still leaking in goals.
Still leaking goals, yeah. I mean, we've seen them lose against Chelsea recently, last week, week before last, sorry. And then, they went against Brentford, they won, and then they drew against Burnley, 1-1 at home, which is a pretty, typical Brighton of this season, I guess, scoring and conceding in every game. Just defensively, they're just all over the place. Attacking, they're fine, but just defensively, they are all over the place.
I think Arsenal have no fear of this again. They should be looking to put in 4 minimum.
I think
I know
only for the dodgy goalkeeping situation, you would say 4-0. But because it's just doesn't seem to be confidence in goals for you anymore.
Brighton are scoring in every game even they lose. Even if they lose, they have a weird statistic where they've conceded and scored in every Premier League season.
So
I've never heard that, but I do agree with you.
Against games like I was full sure against Burnley at home, they get a clean sheet, 100%. And they were actually looking to get a draw out of that game.
I don't know. I think Arsenal will, they should really go through Brighton for a shortcut, and especially in terms of getting goals. They'll concede because that just seems to be the rate of play for Brighton this year. But I don't think Brighton have enough to get past that Arsenal squad in terms they're not a Villa.
They're not going to hold Arsenal back, and they're definitely not going to.
No, I don't think so. No, definitely not.
We've been wrong before, but I hope I'm not wrong because I do want to see Arsenal win the league this year. Sick of City winning it by.
I don't want to see Liverpool win it either. So
Liverpool win it.
Right, so we'll go predictions then for that game, Oisin.
I really think it'll be. I think 4-2.
Rob,
I literally said 4-2 2 minutes ago. Oisin, come on.
Oh, sorry. Did you actually say 4-2?
That's why you came into your head. You're like, 4-2.
Well, then I'm gonna say fucking 4-1.
Yeah, I was going to say 4-1 as well, just because we
come on, Dan. I just said 4-1.
The rest of a lot of players there midweek Champions League, so I think everyone's coming back feeling fresh. So I think we'll probably get the 4-1. I think we need to turn them over, especially after what happened last year at the Emirates. All right, then moving on then to Brentford versus Aston Villa. We've seen Aston Villa obviously controversially win against Arsenal midweek. Their home form is incredible, but their away form isn't as incredible. Obviously, Villa Park is it's kind of like the Goodison Parks of the world. Like it's kind of like a close stadium. The fans are like right there. The fans are always like fairly like up for the game and stuff. So being away from home, I don't think they get that extra edge to their game. Like we've seen them a few times. Like they've gone to Nottingham Forest and they were beaten 2-0, and they drew recently against who was it? Was it Luton? No, it was Bournemouth. It's Bournemouth. Yeah. So this could be a tricky game for them. We know Brentford have been in good form. They obviously lost last weekend, but they still play like the way that they've always played, just very defensively solid, and they always like to hit teams on the counter attack. So I think there'll be a lot of goals in this game.
Oh, they're missing Mbomo, aren't they?
Yeah, he's gone for a while, but I think.
See, I don't know. I know that Mope. I know he's been doing okay lately, and Weiss is doing okay. I don't know. I think Villa are just too much in a rich vein of form. I think Brentford are doing okay, and that's about it. They are a great team. They can play some fabulous football, but I really think the way that Aston Villa have just been playing, like they'll dog out a win. They have been very unlucky. I know they got bet by Nottingham Forest 2-0 about 2 or 3 weeks ago, but that was a fluke result.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, Brentford are a good team. There's no denying. I just think Aston Villa have that little bit more.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but it'll kind of depend on what team they put out tomorrow. Like I said, I don't know if they're actually true in that group. I know they've won quite a few games, so I'm going to assume that they are true in that group. So they can probably rest a few players. Yeah, Rob.
Yeah, they're through. Just sorry, they are either way. They're going to be through.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to play for like top spot or anything. They've already guaranteed.
Oh, well, they're guaranteed. They're guaranteed. No, if they lose by more than 4 goals, which won't happen.
Yeah, probably won't happen. Yeah, Rob, just quickly on Villa. Yeah, we were talking about how great they are. Can they keep?
Their home form is great, but there's a reason why they're not top of the table.
There you go. They're getting there. They're getting there.
They're getting there, but
3 points. Still top. They're in third.
Yeah, Brentford one of those teams like they're very strange. They'll beat the better teams and lose to the worst teams.
Yeah, there you go. They can't do that.
They're lucky now being without Mbremo and still waiting on Tony to come back, which is going to be fucking crazy.
I think Arsenal. I've seen today. Arsenal are pushing for Ivan Toney in the
They definitely should.
They have to go for him.
I'd be surprised if even we don't go for him as well, because he is ready to move. Like, what a player he's going to be. Like, he's
absolutely. He'd be like a different. He's like, I know he's like, why he's like 20. What is he? Is he 26?
25 or 26.
25, yeah.
26.
Like he's like what 6'2". 6'2". He's strong. He is. He's got every attribute you need. Like, and he's come up through the ranks as well.
27. Either way, nonetheless, he's.
Oh, okay. Well, he's just
proven.
Yeah, so it's probably what I'm most looking forward to now for the rest of the next season is Ivan Toney coming back, because of how Disney United mean. Like, hopefully he comes back and does bits. But
when is he back?
Is it February?
I think it's January, isn't it? End of January.
Yeah.
I guess
right in the middle of the transfer market. Like,
even I think if he's out till February, someone will buy him in January and have him back. Right. So predictions: Brentford versus Aston Villa. Oisin.
2-0 Villa.
Rob.
I think 1-1.
Right. I think it was going to be 2-0 Villa as well. I think they're like you said, they're in such a good bit of form. All right, up next, second and last game of the game week, we have West Ham at home to Wolves, which promises to be a pretty good game. Two teams that can play really good football when they want to, but we've seen obviously West Ham get bounced 5-0 against Fulham. So Wolves drew 1-1 at home to Forest there. But yeah, like we've seen this from West Ham quite a lot lately. They seems to be taking one step forward, one step back kind of thing. They'll put up a good performance. They'll win a game maybe, but then they'll lose. Like a 5-0 defeat away to Fulham is crazy. And Wolves aren't afraid of anyone. Gary Neal, look, we talk about how good of a job Gary Neal has done with Wolves. So they could be on, looking at the London stadiums. It's a big open pitch. Like the Wolves players like to run. Wang Hee-chan likes the space and stuff like that. So yeah,
as well.
It could be like this game. I could see going either way.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's just a mad one. Like if you think about it, West Ham are ninth in the table. I think they have. I don't know. They have something like they've 7 or 8 wins, and I know they've one win more than they have losses, and they're ninth.
7 wins, 6 losses.
Yeah. So and it's 3. Yeah, it'd be 3 draws then, wouldn't it? Yeah. So they're very strange team.
It's
I think
bang average. Like.
Yeah, it's just they're very up. It's very hot and cold with them. I never assumed they were going to get a European spot, but I did think they'd do well. So it's mad. Like they may pull out and win 5-0 against Wolves. But then again, and vice versa, don't be surprised if you see Wolves come out and batter them 5-0. It's just they're so weird in that sense. I think Bowen, look, they have a lot of their big hitters available for this weekend. Same as Wolves, I suppose, in hindsight. But it's a strange one. Moyes is it seems like because he's lost Declan Rice, he's trying to play a different style, and especially in the midfield kind of reign. Naturally, you have to when you lose a talent like Declan Rice. As Arsenal are reaping the benefits of that reward, but it's a strange one. Like it's West Ham. They actually are this year. I have to say, like a few games that I've seen, they're quite attractive, especially in the front foot. Kudos is a brilliant player. Bowen is back on form. Ward-Prowse is doing well. Paquetá is like I don't think I've seen him have a bag. Even when West Ham are shy, he's having a great game. He's really, really putting his heart and soul into it. So it's a strange one. But it's true, like. Wolves, like take nothing away from Wolves under Gary Neal, they're exceeding expectations big time. None of us could see that even.
I think we all relegated Wolves this year.
Yeah, well, I didn't, but I didn't think. I thought they were going to be in there, but 18th, 17th, 18th, or 19th rather, or 16th, 17th, or whatever. But Gary Neal is doing a bit of work. Look, they have more losses than they have wins, but they're very important in a lot of games, particularly as you alluded to earlier on the VAR decisions against them. So it's going to be a good game. I can't there's going to be a winner. I just can't see where it's coming from.
Yeah, Rob, anything to include there?
No, not really. Definitely in terms of form, you'd say Wolves are better because of the 6 wins or 7 wins of West Ham's. Was there like 5 in a row or 4 in a row to start the season?
3 or no 2. It was what was it? They had 7 points after 3 games. So they won 2, and then they've only won 5.
2 is draw. That's enough. It can literally go anyway. Thinking of a prediction, I don't want to put down. I kind of don't want either team to lose, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. So I mean, we'll go predictions. I don't think I guess like just two very similar teams. Could be a cracking game. Who knows? Like a 2-2, 3-3. I don't know. Let's hope. Anyways, Oshin.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great game. But I think it's gonna be very open. So I'm gonna say, just because I can't decide who's gonna be a winner, I'm just gonna go say 2-2. There's definitely gonna be someone who wins that game, but I'm just gonna say 2-2.
Rob.
Yeah, I go 1-1.
I'm gonna go 2-2. I think it'll be goals.
I was gonna say 2-2, but I should say 2-2, so I said no, I won't do it.
Yeah. Oh God.
Speaking of goals, we have Liverpool at home to Manchester United, a fixture which Liverpool won 7-0 last season. Oshin, you touched on, actually, Rob, I'll go at you. Oshin touched on the injuries that United have had this season. It seems Maguire and Shaw now are out as well. Bruno Fernandes is suspended. Shit cunt. Yeah, I don't know what you can say. I don't know what you guys are hoping for. Like, it's going to be a long day.
We are
just to wake up next maybe Wednesday, Thursday, and have the beams out of the way is the best one. Have no more injuries. Obviously, you can hope for a miracle. Something could happen. You never know, but realistically, we kind of know what's going to happen. Anything under 3 is a positive result. Just get this week out of the way, this harsh over week, and just get back to getting players back.
Morale is definitely down.
Morale is definitely down, but like it can only go up. Like for your hockey Liverpool, it's at rock bottom. Like
it's hard to see it getting better anytime soon, just because like you talk about like injuries, but like it's so many games coming quick and fast right now. Like there's no breaks until March. Like,
but we're out of Europe now is the thing. Like we've no Carabao Cup to play, so I know
the Cup starts in January.
That's only one game though. Really, like sure we could lose that yet. Look, we've Casemiro and Alessandro coming back in the next 2-3 weeks, like which is big for us, especially Martinez in the back line. It's a pity now with Maguire, like our player of the month. like the Premier League player one, I don't know if he was really that, but he's definitely our best player, especially.
In fairness, he did very well. Like, all credit to him. He's been doing. Was so much shit thrown at him. Like rather maybe
brilliant, yeah.
But like everyone obviously was laughing at him. You know, he was just unfortunate. He's putting his body on the line, and like obviously he got his own goals and stuff like that. Stuff happens, whatever. That's football. But in fairness, he's bounced back and he's been performing.
Like even against Bayern last night and stuff, the tackles he was putting in was class.
He
was dominating the game. Like
it was the Maguire and Kim Min-jae game. It was between the two centre backs. Yeah, it was because even though they weren't a connected duel, it was between them and other end of the pitch. It was Maguire and his end and Kim Min-jae and his end.
And so you could tell once Maguire went off, that's when Bayern started cutting us open. Really.
Oh yeah.
There was just now I know they had maybe a couple of half chances before that, but when Maguire went off, it really started to show. Interesting now to see how we line up on Sunday. Liverpool licking lips as always, but look.
It's gonna be Dalot, Varane, Evans, and Reguilon, or it's either going to be Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Evans, and Dalot left back. So
which I don't fancy Dalot left back against Salah.
Against Salah. So no matter where you look about. Whatever way you look at it, we're in trouble at the back.
Like you touched about being in trouble at the back. I want to bring up something that was pointed out in the group chat about the trouble at the front end. You know, you've between Rashford, Sancho. I'm not gonna Sancho. Yeah, fucking. I don't know. He hasn't played. I don't know when he's played since. But you know, Anthony, Højlund, Garnacho, Martial. So you know, 6 attackers. They have 4 goals, 3 assists in like 3,500 minutes of football, which is what's my maths? 30 games, roughly, a bit more maybe, which is crazy.
It's not good. It's not good.
Like your injuries, unfortunately, like I think you got shafted big time. But you know, you have players like Marcus Rashford hit 30 goals last season, and now he's getting pity penalties here left. Like you know, like it's just baffling how.
Like this for Rashford,
like last Rashford, like looked like they would really push on and start maybe I wouldn't say they want to compete for a title or anything like that, but like to really push on and capitalize on like winning the Carabao Cup last year. Like Ten Hag looked like he had a system in place and just I don't know, like players like Casemiro started the season was dog shit.
He was dog shit, yeah.
He was fucking out. He was overweight.
Yeah, just players like that, just the influential players from last year, like Marcus Rashford, he's gone hiding as well. Like, it's just something needs to be changed at Manchester United and real quick. I don't think Andrew needs to stay. I think he's the right man for you, but I think it's like half them players need to get rid. But like, who's going to buy them? Who's going to buy these players on these wages? Like Sancho, you're paying him what, 350 grand a week?
15 grand, yeah. Like I think
the
thing is like the clubs will always buy players. Like that'll never be a problem. It's whether the player wants to go and.
But the thing is, like,
no get the payout and stuff like that.
Sancho's being like, sure, I'm on 350 grand a week.
That's exactly it. So United are going to have to pay a part of his contract to let him go. That's what happened with Maguire during the summer. He wanted 10 million. They were only willing to give him 6. He said, no, I'm going to stay then. And now he was performing the way he is. So there will always be clubs that buy players, but. You are right in this. Like statistically, the front part of the pitch is deplorable. Anthony. Like I love him, but he's not worth a shite. Højlund, like you really have to feel bad.
I like Højlund. I feel bad including him in, but that's the fact. Like he hasn't scored.
It is a fact.
He scored in Champions League, so he's actually scoring goals, right? He is scoring goals.
But you have to feel bad for him. Like he's not getting, like every game we say it, he's knocking any serve. There's no fundamental crosses going into that box where he should be. He's starting.
Is that the players or is that like Ten Hag?
Both. Sure, he has 2 inverted wingers in.
I think it's a bit of both. Like I've noticed in a few games that it seems like they're literally avoiding the pass on the ball.
Yeah, it's mad.
I'm pretty sure I've seen Garnacho at it even at one stage. Just passing the ball, like, and let him.
I think Garnacho's ego after, like, especially last few games, because he was performing for a while now. He's become a little selfish, and that was always going to happen with an 18, 19-year-old.
Which you don't mind. Same with Rashford. No. Like Rashford was at his best last year when he was just selfish and actually had a drive on him.
And he was going. He disappeared. Everything he hit was gold.
This form of Rashford, this isn't a dip in form. It was just a spike last year. This is normal Marcus Rashford, by the way.
This is the truth.
Like he's been like this for a while.
We said at the start of the season. You brought up at the start of the season. He didn't score from March, or something like that. May or March. So he didn't. It was a period from December until April or something like that, where he's banging them in and then he disappeared. He didn't score over
he barely got his 30th goal against Chelsea.
Exactly.
Scraped it in like then.
So that's not new there. It's just the service coming in, like the two inverted wingers that cannot play on their weaker foot to send in crosses. That's the be on end.
We do need to bring in players in January. You've got to go for Ivan Toney, I think. Sell Martial for someone. I think why not?
You wouldn't get 5 million for Martial. You need to. You might just about.
So someone back to France, maybe you get something for him.
Maybe.
Saudi Arabia have paid stupid money for worse players. Surely they'll pay for Sancho for 60 million and they'll pay him 400 grand a week. Same with Martial. So that's what they do.
It's who can you get in January? You won't get anyone in January. This is literally the thing. What's going to happen? You're going to have to suck it up until the summer, because this takeover is not done now. It won't be done in time for January transfer window. It's just not happening.
Then you just have to, you have to make sure that the money's there, because if the money's not there in January or in the summertime, it'd be same as like this summer. They'll be like him and Han over like the guts of like fucking 5-10 million here or there,
and go and pay anyways.
It'll be too late, and then they'll have to pay double for a player that they're looking at.
And that's how that has been, and potentially may always be the problem with United buying. That's why I really want the likes of Phil Mitchell or Paul Mitchell to come in. Because he's even though he's young, he's one of the best negotiators in football. He got what he got for Monaco for Kylian Mbappe, for a player that PSG only wanted to pay for 60. He managed to get over double that. You know what I mean? 140 million for at the time an 18-year-old French player. Like that was all Paul Mitchell, and Blanc as well. When he comes in, he's known negotiator, especially when it comes to player contracts as well. So those players, the likes of Casemiro and Varane and potentially Rashford, those big wage players, I can absolutely see are either going to be told like you're gone or you have to sign a new contract.
I think the reports are true that Varane and Casemiro will be gone next month. The only thing that might keep them there is injuries, especially.
Yeah, it might not be the worst. It might not be the worst thing.
It's just
if you get 100 million, if you can get 100 million between them, which you could easily do against Saudi money, because they're two very big name players. Again, it's Jersey sales over there.
Yeah, big time.
Especially if it's both. Like they could easily both join fucking Al-Nassr, Ronaldo.
I think
get the team together.
I think what needs to happen as well. If that happens in January, I think United need to raid Everton for Onana and Brathwaite. He's an unbelievable. I was saying that last year.
Like for Mark Guehi or Anderson from Palace as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Mark Guehi.
Because he's a guaranteed starter.
That's English tax with him as well, so he'll be paying more.
Yeah, but I think they're two players you definitely need to, because they're Premier League proven. They're animals in their own set. Both of them are over 6'4", and 6'5". They're brilliant players. One left foot, Onana's like he's the midfield, like he's that anchor that I think United would appreciate. But you also need to get a right-sided centre back too, a good one. Because like Lindelof, I don't give he's fucked. Like he's forever either sick or injured. He's the only centre back that refuses to get into a ground duel. Like that's amazing for a centre back.
He gets bullied far too easily.
Unbelievable.
Right. Lads, we'll leave it there for you. We'll do predictions, so we'll move on. Oisin, predictions. Liverpool, Man United.
I really don't want to say it, but I think it's gonna be like 4-0, 4-1 Liverpool.
Rob?
I was thinking 4-0 Liverpool, all right.
It's just
their defense. We go 2-1 United.
Good man.
Right. I can't see United score. I just can't see United score. I think probably I'm gonna say 5-0 Liverpool. 5-0 Liverpool. I just don't. It's hard to know. Like it could be another 7. Who knows? Just United just seem completely out of sorts. They're not scoring. They're just leaking goals.
We're not creating is the problem.
We're
not getting any shots on target.
See, the thing is, like the way we can change. Like we played the way we did against Bournemouth, absolutely dire. But then we actually stood toe to toe against Bayern. Whether Bayern had actual any desire to win, we'll see. But like we properly went. We went. They were trying. They were trying.
Against Chelsea, you were
for
Chelsea were a dog shite, but against Chelsea, you were phenomenal, but
It was
they just
well,
turned around.
Chelsea made us look
one
better as well.
Yeah,
They turned
Sanchez
around
kicked us the ball every time.
But just to
we
turn
did let them back into it.
like, at home to Bournemouth and lose the way he did was just a huge.
And Liverpool will play the exact same way.
Yeah.
Like once he started, Onana was conceding the goals he was conceding. My fear is Liverpool, who will pick the corners, because still fuck all goals that we concede are into the corner.
Yeah, they're all in the middle.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to do it for us here on the Horny Football Podcast. Oisin and Rob, thank you so much for your input tonight. Let us know down in the comments your thoughts and predictions for Match Week 17. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok, and we'll see you all back here next week. Don't forget, stay horny.